me for this presentation of traveling different vacation strategies for parents of the anxious, the inflexible, and the neurodiverse. It's the travel Bible for parents of children on the autism spectrum or with attention or mood disorders, but the special needs tips can soothe the travel hiccups of any family. A little bit about me. I grew up in the travel industry with sales and management positions in two of my family's companies, Barclay Travel Limited and Barclay International Group, short-term apartment and villa rentals. I've held senior or contributing editor positions at 4 major travel trade publications, and I'm currently the family and special needs contributing editor for Insider Travel Report. And I'm the mother of 2 children who were challenging as children and thankfully a little less challenging as adults. When I needed this book in the early aughts, it didn't exist, which is what inspired me to write it. Again, this book was written for parents of children on the autism spectrum or with attention disorders like ADHD or mood disorders like bipolar syndrome. However, the travel strategies can help any parent, whether or not their children have special needs. Every child can become anxious and inflexible when removed from their comfort zone. And as you can imagine, nothing takes you out of your comfort zone faster than travel. And the information is needed badly. It's estimated that 1 out of every 44 children falls on the autism spectrum, and that's not including those with attention and mood disorders. Out of 1,000 special needs families that were interviewed by IBCCES in 2018, 87% said they didn't travel and they wouldn't travel. But of those, 93% said they would if they knew where to go and what to do, that there was a place that could cater to their special needs. Now, I will say that that survey was updated in 2022, and that 87% had actually fallen 9% down to 78%, which is great, but it's still a really high number when you think that more than 3/4 of special needs families just won't travel. And that's another good reason to have written the book. The book contains 344 pages of expert advice from mental health professionals such as Dr. Tony Atwood, who is huge in the ASD world, and Dr. Ellen Littman, who's large in ADHD circles, as well as special needs parents, certified autism travel professionals, and mental health allies and advocates. The blog at travelingdifferent.com will provide continual updates because these resources are constantly changing as the travel world becomes more inclusive. Some of the topics include how to introduce the concept of travel, starting small, the importance of preparation, creating a child-centric trip, and how to keep children safe while avoiding triggers and meltdowns. All aspects of travel are covered, including air travel, bus and car trips, train travel, cruises, and houseboat rentals, choosing accommodations. There's even a checklist for how to vet a vacation rental, as well as suggestions of tours and venues and how to tackle restaurant dining. There are also suggestions of various autism certified and autism friendly destinations, hotels, resorts, vacation rentals, theme parks, water parks, museums, travel camps for older children, sports vacations such as golf, adaptive skiing, scuba diving, and horseback riding, and even how to vet a campground. So here's where I'll get into some of the meat of the book, and I'll begin with starting small. The key to travel is introduce the concept long before the trip commences and create the predictability and frame of reference that's so important to children. Luckily, we live in an age of video, so you can preview any aspect of your upcoming vacation either through a video released by the supplier or on YouTube. You may also want to use social stories. Social stories are a method autism consultant Carol Gray developed as an engaging and interactive way to help those on the spectrum cope with new or problematic situations. And I imagine you probably have her book in your library, or you can get a copy. According to Beth Arkey in her article for the Child Mind Institute called Tips for Traveling with Challenging Children, The stories, which are written from the child's point of view, use narration as well as photos and drawings to guide the child through an experience, preparing him or her for social interactions which might be required and prompting desired responses. A story for a child on the autism spectrum about a trip to Florida might include travel details, things he might be nervous about, people he might meet, reassurance that his parents will be with them all the time, and activities he likes and can anticipate enjoying. You may also want to create predictability through the use of visual schedules, which is your daily schedule in picture form, making it easy for a child to read and follow. Picture books depicting your child's favorite characters and travel situations might be another way to introduce the concept. And I've listed a number of them in your book, and I'm sure your library can get the ones you need or introduce you to the ones that might work for you. Mm-hmm. You can also role play with your child or create mini experiences for them to sample the actual travel components ahead of time. For accommodations, before spending hundreds of dollars on hotel rooms, you can spend the night at a home of an understanding friend or relative, just to let the child experience what it's like spending the night away from their own bedroom. This will instantly inform you as to the possible triggers. So when you take your actual vacation, you may realize the importance of bringing your own sheets, blankets, and towels with their familiar texture and scent, or a favorite lamp from home, or the toiletries your child is used to, or even a fan to drown out any noise from the hallway. For air travel, there are programs like Wings for Autism, which let you experience the airport from arrival up until boarding. It's a wonderful dress rehearsal. Many airlines will guide you through a tour as well. And if you want your child to understand what light turbulence feels like, drive along a bumpy country road and have them close their eyes. For camping, why not set up a tent in your own backyard for a night? For tours, if you take a trip to a local zoo, aquarium, museum, or even a garage sale or flea market and frame it as a tour or an adventure, this can provide a positive frame of reference when you tell them there will be touring when you are on vacation later on. The most important thing to do is make the unfamiliar familiar and predictable for them, while emphasizing that while there may be differences between this time and later, the outcome should be equally positive. What you don't want to do is just spring any aspect of a vacation on a child without explaining it first. Once you've introduced the concept, it's time to prepare. Break every aspect of the trip down to the nth degree, from leaving your front door to returning again. Consider where the triggers might exist for your child, since each child on the spectrum is different, whether that's the chaos of crowds, odd smells, loud sounds, bright or fluorescent lights, and always have a backup plan. Here's a great example from the book of having a backup plan. It's from Nicole Thibault of Magic Storybook Travels in Fairport, New York. Quote, "A few years ago, we planned an activity that had our family crossing a suspension bridge. I spoke with the tour guide ahead of time and explained that considering my son's autism and anxiety issues, I wasn't sure if when the time came, he would be able to cross that bridge. The guide and I came up with a backup plan that if he froze and couldn't cross, there would be a golf cart waiting for him, ready to take him to the end point, and we could continue from there. Ultimately, he surprised us all and crossed with no problem, but the backup plan was there just in case." Another example might be if you have a child who doesn't like strangers and smells and crowds, even if your hotel offers you a free jitney from the airport to the hotel upon arrival, you may choose to take a rental car or an Uber where you're going to be the only people inside. It may be more expensive, but in the end, if it avoids a meltdown, it's worth the extra cost. You may also want to offer your child options and get buy-in, so they have a vested interest in the success of a trip. So offer them options of what to do each day, all choices pre-approved by you, of course, so there's no wrong answer. And have them help with picking out clothing to pack, packing it, or even deciding which toys to bring. And plan all your arrangements with a certified autism travel professional, which you can find in the book or on the IBCCES website. I'll discuss them a little later. Also vital to creating a child-centric holiday, and that involves many components. First, along with offering the child various options, as I just discussed, you may want to pace your trip to fit in with the child's abilities. Couples with children can no longer travel the same way as before. You may be only able to visit a couple of sites each day rather than cram in 4 or 5. There needs to be time for decompression. Whether your child is neurotypical or neurodiverse, an afternoon spent at an indoor or outdoor pool or in front of the TV might be a great segue to dinner. Exploring a child's passions can provide the centerpiece to any vacation and make the mundane aspects of the trip easier to bear. It's estimated that 75% to 95% of children with autism have intense or circumscribed interests, which can occupy up to 26 hours of their time each week. Quote, sometimes when you hear the phrase to meet the child where the child is, says John Gabrielli, a neuroscientist with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, if this is their natural motivating capacity, then rather than try to suppress it, it might be more helpful to the child to build on it. To that end, I've included a rather long chapter at the end of the book, which lists various commonplace as well as unique special interests. And then I have listed some museums that might feed into those interests from all across the country. Some might be in your own backyard. A visit could provide a great bonding experience. Said one special needs mom from Michigan, also quoted from the book. We recently took a trip to Wisconsin to visit a water park. My husband happened to stumble upon the National Mustard Museum, which was close by, and we were able to get our son to visit because mustard is Aiden's favorite food. He enjoyed going and tells everyone how we went, especially for him. He loves the memory. Now, many parents might be thinking that this is my vacation too. It can't just be all about my children, to which I suggest bringing along a family member or hiring a sitter to either travel with you or to meet you at your destination to give you the opportunity to explore alone or even just take a romantic dinner. Visit a certified autism center, such as Beaches in Jamaica or Turks and Caicos, where the Kids Club are staffed with counselors who are trained in caring for those on the spectrum. A number of cruise lines offer the same service, and Autism on the Seas runs tours where spectrum families can travel together and learn from each other. And sports vacations that involve horseback riding on a dude ranch, adaptive skiing, golf, and scuba diving can provide a therapeutic experience for kids and simultaneously a recreational outlet for parents. So throughout the book, you're going to see labels like autism friendly or certified autism center. These designations are awarded by organizations like IBCCES, which stands for the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education Standards, as well as groups like the Champion Autism Network, Culture City, Sensory City, and others. It's important for parents and guardians to understand exactly what these designations mean when it comes to the suppliers they're booking for their family. Call, ask what's provided, how they earned their designation, if their programs are offered all the time and specifically when you'll be there. It's important that their programs match what's needed for your child. And because designations change all the time, it's vital to do your due diligence. My blog, travelingdifferent.com, will update the information from the book to keep it as current as possible. If you're wondering what some of these designations include, let's look at Beaches, which was the tourism world's first advanced certified autism centers. First, the staff receives in-depth education with 40 credit hours on autism sensitivity and awareness, centered on communication, motor skills, social skills, environment awareness, emotional awareness, bullying, early childhood identification, transition to adulthood, and more. 2, changes to protocols in physical space to accommodate various needs. 3, an optional service of one-on-one beach buddies, providing a personalized private childcare with a buddy who is autism certified and can be pre-booked for a nominal fee. 4, a dedicated toll-free number to Beach's Special Services Team, certified by IBCCES, where Beach's staffers can assist both consumers and travel professionals who wish to learn more about a Beach's vacation and their on-resort autism programming. 5, a culinary concierge program to support specific dietary restrictions and special requests. 6, modified check-in options for private in-room check-in. 7, the availability of sensory toys as well as dream pad pillows for children's use. 8, modified design and decoration in kids' camps and key entertainment areas to provide a more sensory-friendly environment. Beaches will also launch a sensory stimulation guide for guests with sensory needs, providing comfort and an understanding of what to expect in each designated area of the resort. The guide, which outlines the degree of sensory stimulation in a specific area or event, allows families to easily plan and navigate their visit based on their individual needs. Designated low sensory areas will also be identified at all resorts, allowing guests to find comfort in designated spaces should they need a break from sensory stimulation. These locations will be easily identifiable through resort maps, on-site signage, and in pre-travel planning materials. Likewise, you've heard me mention Certified Autism Travel Professionals, or CATPs. Their training includes 10 different study modules, which you can see listed on the screen, and they will do in-depth research on hotels, resorts, air travels, cruises, and road trips. It's important to mention that IBCCES requires a CATPs as well as certified autism centers to take yearly continuing education to renew their designations. So where are the suggested vacation destinations for those on the spectrum or with attention and mood disorders? Along with resorts, cruises, and the sports holidays I've already mentioned, some tourist boards are really diving in, getting their designation and then urging the hotels, attractions, and restaurants in their cities to do the same. So when you go to cities like Mesa, Arizona, Visalia, California, Myrtle Beach, and Surfside Beach, South Carolina, there are so many autism-friendly options of where to stay, dine, and visit. Other cities like Philadelphia and New York have so many autism-friendly and certified attractions. You can create your own Spectrum holiday just by using the resources in the book. Also, many theme parks and water parks like Legoland, Disney, Sesame Place, Six Flags, and SeaWorld, among others, have sensory programs in place to welcome those on the spectrum. And your CATP can help you find the ones that work best for your upcoming vacation. And a lot of that is going to involve signage on site, as well as the ability to keep your stroller as a wheelchair in case your child gets tired of standing, and also the ability to skip the long lines, which are really difficult for a child to endure. I'm afraid this presentation only skims the surface of what's out there for families with anxious or inflexible or neurodiverse kids. Most of my book consists of the tweaks you can make to turn any vacation into one that will avoid sensory meltdowns, no matter where you go. It's sold at all major retailers, and obviously your library has a copy that's on their way. I hope that if travelers uncover any resources or tweaks I've missed, or if the book opens up the world for you in any way, you'll write to me or contact me via social media to let me know. I'm also happy to address parent groups such as SEPTA, BOCES, and those sponsored by any special needs organization. Thanks so much for your attention. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, I do have one question, Dawn. The name of the author of the social story book?
Carol Gray, Gray.
Okay. I will have to check our catalog and see if we have that. So
yeah,
those are
very helpful.
Great. Good stories to read to the kids before taking them on vacation. And
well, they create the stories.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Yes.
I think Heidi knows about it.
I am very aware. Thank you. I did want to ask you a question. I know you're recording this. Can I be
Yes.
sent the link to share with my families? Is that okay to share it with on like Facebook?
Yeah, I'd love it.
Okay.
Please do.
Happy to promote.
Thank you.
That was very useful information. And I know a lot of my families would find it helpful.
I hope so. I mean, whenever I meet people that need the book and they grab it, I'm so happy that I'm able to make a change in their life, because it just breaks my heart that people worry so much about what people will think of them that they don't travel. And that's sort of the number one thing I've also heard from families is we didn't travel because we were afraid if our child had a sensory meltdown, people would think that we were bad parents or they were bad children. And so they just don't go. And, you know, I have a belief that there are two types of people in the world, people you know and people you don't. The people you know are going to have empathy for you and understand what you're going through. And the people who don't, you're never going to see again. So why do you care what they think?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Heidi, I will send you that link for the recording then.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you for letting me join in this way. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for coming.
I'm just curious, Heidi, what is your position at Autism Delaware?
I've been there 17 years. I'm a family navigator is my title in the moment. I do a lot of one-on-one advocacy with families, mostly in Newcastle County. But I mean, we have like, you know, the version of me downstate too in Lewis.
Okay, great.
I think our navigator is in Lewis. It's
Tamara Williams. Yeah.
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 Navigator.
Oh, that's great. Have you interacted with her then?
Not so much during COVID, but before that we were, and we just saw her recently. Yeah. So
Okay.
she's very helpful. Very helpful.
Very good.
Well, thank you for all you do.
Wow.
No questions?
No, but I'm going to look forward to reading the book.
Yes.
Daniel's grown now, so but I can relate to a lot of the things when he was younger, you know.
Yes. Did you?
We did travel some because I moved here from a different state and I traveled back and forth, but it was not easy. I would usually drive straight through just so I drove from Delaware to Arkansas straight through so I didn't have to stop anywhere.
Wow.
I do have a section on travel camps for older kids, fairly high functioning kids, but there's also a group called Wilderness Inquiry out of Minneapolis that travels all over, and they for families or for teens or for older adults of all abilities. So that's also something to read.
Great.
We did go to Legoland. He loves Legoland.
Oh.
We all like Legoland.
Oh, that's great.
That is one place I never took my kids. Although I have to tell you, we traveled like to Europe, and we had our experienced our meltdowns and all that kind of stuff in our travels. But really, I think that the more information that you read to prepare, the better you are when you go. I think I was pretty ready. I'm pretty astute at this stuff, but it is so much, and I think I share often with my families, and I think that having a book is just the best idea. So thank you for writing it.
Thanks. I've tried to make it like a checklist so there's nothing you forget and that you can read just whatever portion you need.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's how you get there, where you stay, and what you do. And that's how I broke it up.
Well, I look forward to sharing it. And I have family in New York City. I'll share it with them too, who are teachers. Okay. So hopefully that will help you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
I have to run. I have a meeting with a young man at the university, so I'm going to go, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I guess we're